Welcome to the most horrible history lesson ever, or should that be the best ever? Bits of history that your teachers could never tell you, with all the gory bits left in. Kellogg's has teamed up with Horrible Histories and with the writer Terry Deary, that's me, to bring you a series of disgusting tales from some of the most famous periods in history. Some of them are so foul, you may even have to hold your nose and close your eyes as you listen to them. This is one of 6 CDs in the series, available free on special packs of cornflakes, Frosties, Cocoa Pops and Rice Krispies. Each 30-minute CD is exclusive to Kellogg's, so you'll be one of the few people to know about some of the darkest secrets from the days of old. You may just want to eat your breakfast before pinning back your ears. Enjoy. Hello, I'm Terry Deary, author of the Horrible Histories books, and I'm here to tell you that school history can be really horrible. It can be horribly hard to learn. The trouble is, it keeps on changing. I mean to say, in maths, 2 and 2 is usually 4, except when it's 22. And in science, water is always made up of hydrogen and oxygen. But in history, things aren't that simple. Really, it's just someone's opinion. And opinions can be different for different people. For example, I used to think my history teacher was more horrible than the cold cabbage and custard I had for school dinner. But my teacher's mum probably thought he was sweeter than a tea with 6 sugars. That's her opinion. And sometimes you can both be right and both be wrong. One day, my teacher shouted at me, "Deary, where is Hadrian's Wall?" So I said, "Please, sir, at the bottom of Hadrian's garden." "Detention." See what I mean? Both right, both wrong. Mind you, my teacher tried to tell me there were right and wrong answers even when there weren't. He asked me, "Deary, why did the Romans build straight roads?" And I said, "Please, sir, so the ancient Britons couldn't hide round the corners." "Detention." But teachers' jokes are more horrible than the Tower of London torture chamber. You know the sort of thing. The Romans conquered Italy, they conquered Europe, they conquered Britain, then they stopped. Why? That's right, they ran out of conquers. Get it? Here's another terrible teacher's horrible history joke. The Romans divided Gaul into 3 parts. They probably used a pair of Caesars. Scissors, get it? I did, worst luck. I wished someone would divide my teacher into 3 parts. So you see what I mean about history being horrible. But when you discover the truth about the past, you can find it is horribly fascinating. Everyone loves a good murder story, and history's full of them. In fact, the rotten Romans started with a bit of a murder story. Rotten for Remus. Once upon a time, there were 2 princes born in a country called Alba Longa. Their wicked uncle decided to have them killed so he could take the throne. He put them in a trough and sent them to float down the river Tiber, where they would sink and drown and be eaten by crocodiles. Oh, all right, I made that bit up. No crocodiles in the river Tiber. Anyway, the princes didn't drown. They were washed ashore at a place we now call Rome. And as we all know, be it ever so humble, there's no place like Rome. The little boys were cared for by a wolf. A wolf! And a woodpecker. Till they were found and brought up by a shepherd. The boys grew up and formed a gang of tough young men and went back to court to sort out their wicked uncle. The uncle was shocked, but he tried not to show it. "Ah, hello, lads," he said. "Glad to see you back from that jolly little boat ride I sent you on 20 years ago." One of the brothers, Romulus, wasn't too pleased. "Boat ride? Nah, that was dangerous. We could have drowned.
But you didn't!
The uncle told them. He's read all the stories. I knew you wouldn't. I knew you wouldn't. They never do. And Romulus says, anyway, me and the boys have come back to kill you and give your throne back to our granddad. And that's what they did. Then the boys went back to Rome, and that's when the trouble really started. Romulus drew a line in the soil with a plough, and he said, right, bruv, everything on this side of the line is mine. It's my town, and I want it called Rom. Now Remus was a bit upset, as you would be. He said, oh yeah, what you gonna do if I cross your line in? And Romulus said, kill you. Remus crossed the line and said, I crossed it, bruv. I killed you, bruv. And then he did a little war dance. I am Romulus and this is Rome. And that's how Rome was supposed to have been founded. So what happened to Romulus? How did he build a city with his gang of lads? He didn't. They were a bit short of women for this new city, so he invited the Sabine people to a party and captured all their daughters for his men to marry. Another problem solved. In the end, Romulus disappeared in a storm, and the story said he changed into a god. The Romans had a thing about gods. They had temples where priests used to sacrifice animals to the gods, and that could be pretty gruesome. I've often wondered how you learned how to